Hi, I'm Rio.
And I'm Sven.
And we are Aerial Grand Prix.
And we're all about FPV racing.
That's right, FPV, first person view. What does that mean? It means that, what is it, Sven?
It is being in the cockpit.
Like this little guy here. So it's kind of like you're this little guy flying this little plane, which is not a plane, it's a multicopter. This is not a plane.
No.
What is this?
It's a helicopter, a
multirotor.
Multirotor copter.
But it is in the helicopter.
It is a helicopter,
right?
Technically.
But it has 4 motors.
Yeah.
In this case, it's called a quadcopter because it's 4. So that's what Grand Prix racing is.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about it, right?
Yeah.
But what does that really mean? Like, what is it? Like, what racing is there that's kind of like that?
It's a lot like IndyCar racing, NASCAR, you know, Formula One, MotoGP, all of those big name.
But in the air.
In the air, three-dimensionally.
Three-dimensionally, because when you're on the ground, when you're on a car with a tire,
yeah,
you can't go up and down. You can only go left and right, right?
Yeah.
Unless the course goes downhill and uphill.
Yes.
But we can go up and down, left and right, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It adds another dimension to it.
It's a lot like the Red Bull air races, but we're flying simultaneously.
Together, because with the air races, it's so dangerous that you can't
fly together.
They used to fly together, but you can't fly like this close together because what would happen is they would hit each other and they would crash and burn, and it's very dangerous to be in a plane going 200 miles. How fast do they go?
250, 300 miles an hour.
400 miles per hour? I don't know.
There has been known to be
some fatalities. So they don't race them together anymore. They do it one by one. But we can race these things together, like 5 to 6 to 10 maybe, you know, depending on the technology that's available. So that's really cool. It's kind of like the Star Wars pod racing, which everybody loves. I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't love that.
Yeah.
Right? And we get to be the pilots and sit in a lawn chair. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll have better chairs in the future. But, but right now we're all sitting in lawn chairs.
We can sit.
So you can sit anywhere. You can sit in your living room and look at a giant, you know, projected TV screen or projector.
So we're seeing through this camera right here, and it is sending out a signal right here.
Yeah. And it's what? It's wireless?
That is correct. It is wireless. It is sending a signal wirelessly to these goggles, and we are seeing what this camera is seeing.
So we get to sit in a chair, and all we have to do is put on these goggles, and then how do we control these? With these guys, right?
Yeah.
We control these basically like a PlayStation controller, and we can fly these things in the air physically.
Yeah.
In real life.
And these things are so small that you could go in between trees, bridges,
windows, garages,
anything you can think of. Yeah.
Right?
Just keep it safe.
So let's talk about the different sizes. So we have, let's look at the small little guys. So we have anything from a little micro like this.
Yeah.
Which we don't have a camera on this, but these are great to learn on. And we learn on these. And then we have these guys, which are also micros.
Yep.
But this one, let me take this one. This one, we've installed a little camera here, so we can actually see through this camera, and we can fly FPV. And you don't have to fly these FPV. You don't have to, right?
No.
And what is that called?
It's called line of sight.
Line of sight. So what does that mean?
That means you are seeing it
with our own eyes.
Naked eye. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're not controlling it from the cockpit.
And that's how we usually learn how to fly these things. But once you start looking through this thing and flying, it becomes a whole nother level,
different world. Yeah. If you can't fly manually, I don't suggest trying FPV because you will crash and burn. So
we first learn manually on these little guys.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, we have a lot of crashes and everything, but.
And what does manual mean?
What does manual? What does that mean?
Yeah.
So manual means it's kind of like flying a helicopter, right?
Yeah.
Flying helicopters are very, very difficult.
Yeah. There's a gyro, electronic gyro that's stabilizing, but even in a regular helicopter like this, the older style, they don't have a gyro, and you're basically
anything you do,
it
doesn't auto stabilize.
Yes.
But now these things can auto stabilize.
They can. Right? Even these, the manual mode still has a gyroscopic effect on all 3 axes,
which means
to keep it stabilized.
Which means you can literally let go of these controls, and it can hover by itself. Which is why these things are very popular now, right?
Yes.
Very popular. So that's the cool thing about these. And that's why it's so popular and everybody's
pretty foolproof,
but it's still important that you learn these manually. And then, okay, what's next?
You can do these indoor.
Those are great for indoors during the winter.
Next is a 250 class.
Yeah, these are 250 class. And these are called the minis, right?
This is basically your mini H-quad,
Yeah.
which
And it's a quadcopter configuration, which means 4 motors as opposed to 6 or 8.
this is probably the most popular.
This is very, very
right
popular right now. Cool.
Popular by Blackout.
Yeah, Blackout made it very popular. Now we also have these guys, this guy,
Yep.
and this is called a hexacopter because it has 6. Also has an FPV camera. You can mount a GoPro on here, and these are very, very fast. So this is the 300 class. I think it's 290 actually, but it would fall into the 300 class.
Yeah.
Right? And there's also quad versions of this, which we don't have right here, but
Yeah. Should be a little bit bigger.
okay. So those are the mini sizes.
Next would be the 400 class.
But before we do that, there's a DJI Phantom, which we don't
DJI
have.
Phantom.
We don't fly DJI Phantoms.
A lot of people out there who do.
A lot of people do,
Everybody out there does.
and it's very affordable. Everybody has them. You've seen them on the news, all that kind of stuff. And
Any of
that's
those, the white ones, those are DJI
if it's a white
Phantoms.
one, if it's a DJI Phantom.
Yeah.
And that's what, that's 350? So that's somewhere in between this one and this one. So just to get a size
Yeah.
comparison, right? That's somewhere in between. This is actually a 400 frame with extended arms, which means you can add up to a 10-inch propeller. But it's basically a 400 to 450 size frame. It's very, very stable. And the larger you go, it's more stable, right?
Yeah.
Because it has a larger wingspan and has more thrust. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's faster.
No, because it's going to be heavier as well.
So you need a lot more powerful motors, right?
And you need a bigger battery, which is a lot heavier.
All right, so that's the 450 class. And then from there you have 600 class, a 700 class, and then you can jump up to 1,000 millimeter, which is here. It's
Yeah.
a big guy.
It's a monster.
And they actually do have bigger ones than that. I've seen
Yeah.
quite a few.
Yeah, there's some big ones out there.
There's even one where you can actually literally sit on, right?
Yeah. It's this crazy one.
Right? Have you seen that video?
I've seen it on YouTube, yeah.
We could link it right now. It's right here. So those are all the sizes, and so you can pick whatever works for you. You can start with these small little guys, which are such a lot of fun because you can just put it in your pocket and go to Disneyland and fly them around. And the big ones can lift cameras and all that kind of stuff. Aerial photography, aerial cinematography,
Search
right?
and rescue.
Search and rescue. What else is there? What other uses
Law
are there?
enforcement.
Law enforcement.
Military, of course.
There's a lot of good uses. Oh, farming too.
Farming, yes.
Right? Martha Stewart has one.
She flies the
Martha Stewart
DJI Phantom.
Is it a DJ? I thought it was a bebop. It's a parrot.
Oh, never mind.
It's French.
Parrot. Yeah.
It's French.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah.
I like
So-
parrots. I would want one of those.
Those are really cool. The new ones are really cool.
Yeah. We should make a class of those as well.
3D racing.
Yeah.
3D racing.
Today I brought my friend Matt here. He's interested in racing.
I definitely am. I am new to the hobby. I love RCs, flying airplanes, helicopters before, but I have not gotten into this realm of RCing. So how do these work? How do these multirotors work?
Basically, this works like a propeller on an airplane. But instead of going forward, it's pulling the craft up, defying gravity. And within it, you have a control board, which is sending signals to the motors, telling it what to do to tilt, bank, go forward.
Exactly. And then we can control this wirelessly with a transmitter, like so, like a radio transmitter.
And
like
these
this.
don't just go up and down; they go side to side.
You can do whatever. You can do flips. You can do rolls. You can do all kinds of things. You can fly
That's-
upside down, straight into the ground.
That
all
is
kinds of cool
interesting.
stuff.
And so, what are these goggles and what are these cameras that you have on the front of the quadcopters and the multirotors?
All right. So what you need is this radio to control your physical movements on this guy. So that's one link. That's one radio link. The other one is your image. You need to be able to see your camera in these goggles. That's another radio link. Now we're going to cover that in a different episode, specifically about the different radio frequencies, different components that you can choose, and all that kind of stuff. But those are the basic things, the two radio links. Because you're seeing through this camera here, you can fly without a GoPro if you want to, but a lot of us fly with 2 cameras. The one that's an FPV camera, which is the link to our goggles, right? And another GoPro so we can record our flight, because we want to re-experience our flight. And when we're at home, we're like, that was an awesome flight, I want to go watch it again, you know? So that's why we put those GoPros on there. You can look through your GoPro too to link to your goggles, but a lot of times we like this one because it has different settings, higher shutter speed, all kinds of stuff that we'll cover in another episode. That makes it an easier camera to see through, but that's the deal with the GoPro. It'll record your flight, so we like that.
What's the range of these things? So if I put these goggles on and I'm flying them with an antenna,
that's a good question.
How far out can I fly this?
That definitely depends on your equipment. For example, these little guys are really cool, but these don't go as far. So like if you had something like this, it would probably only go about half a mile before you start losing radio control and also the video.
And since this one's kind of smaller than the other ones, does that work less effective in the outdoors? Does the wind affect it more?
Yeah, it's definitely very lightweight, so the wind can push it around, and it'll be a lot harder to control in the wind.
Interesting.
So that's why you want to get something a little bit bigger, that's a little bit more powerful if you're going to fly them outdoors.
Fair enough. Okay. Definitely.
But these are a lot of fun indoors.
What how fast do these go? How fast will these go when we race them?
How fast do these go, Sam?
Little guys can go pretty fast, but if you're talking about 1,000mm like this guy right here, endless possibilities.
You didn't answer the question.
I didn't ask the question.
You didn't answer the question. How fast do they go?
Oh, very fast. I mean, I don't know.
Like, they go around like 30, 40 miles per hour.
We haven't yet clocked them, actually.
We haven't clocked them, but these go around 30, 40 miles per hour. There are some that go up to 70, 80 miles per hour. I haven't seen one that goes over 100 miles per hour, but I think we might be able to build one, right?
Yeah, there's some kind of...
We've got some engineer friends, aerodynamic, or aeronautic
the laws of
engineers,
physics
right?
have to
that
be
we got
broken somehow.
We've got on the team, so we're gonna. That's our goal: to break the 100 mile per hour limit.
Probably with something like this.
Something like that. Maybe a little something smaller, but something like that. That's the goal. So we want to go fast.
Fair enough. I like to go fast, so that's good. What other questions do I have for you? So how would I learn to use this controller with a quadcopter or a multirotor without completely destroying my multirotor on my first try?
Well, you don't even need any of this actually. What you can get is a simulation software and a computer. That's all you need. So you can actually get, I think it's about $200 or $100 or $200. You can get the simulation software. Some of them come with a little controller like this, and you basically plug it in. A screen pops up on your computer, and you're able to see first-person view or line of sight, and you can learn how to hover. There's different training programs. You can learn how to go in a circle.
Yeah.
What else?
Change the wind and...
Oh yeah, you can change different wind conditions.
Wind, weather, yes.
So that is the best way to learn without breaking anything.
Another way to learn is get one of these little guys.
Because this can't hurt anybody, right?
Yeah. And it's got auto leveling. You can easily fly it in your living room, practice while you're sitting there on your TV, watching
TV. You might break these things, but it's very, very safe.
Yeah.
And how much are we talking here if I wanna get one of these little guys and start flying a quadcopter today?
Actually, I think I got this at Fry's.
You can get this at Fry's $60.
No. This is like $40.
No, the $40 is the micro one. I was just there.
Are you sure?
I'm sure it's a $60 one.
It might be $40. You want to bet?
So these range from $40 to $60 to how much is this big guy back here?
That can cost thousands of dollars.
Oh, fair enough.
But if you're really into the hobby, if you want to go fast, you can spend as much money as you want, or as little money as you want.
How much are the medium classes? So the main racing ones, these orange and green ones.
These are actually very affordable, right, Sven?
Yeah.
These are more affordable than your DJI Phantom, which everybody has. Those white ones that you see flying around. These might cost anywhere from You can build one for $100 to maybe
Depending on
a couple $100,
yeah.
but it's definitely cheaper than buying a DJI Phantom. And you learn a lot about it.
It is. You learn a lot. You know how to learn how to fly manually.
And you can fix it. When you crash it, you
Yeah.
can fix it because you know how you built it.
Yeah.
You have your different components. Everything comes separately, but that's the best way to learn. Because if you know what's inside of this, if you break it,
That's right.
you fix it.
So let's say I'm gonna race one of these. What do I have to know? What knowledge do I have to have going into a race besides hopefully knowing how to fly one of these things?
It is one thing to fly and hover one of these things, right? It's another thing to race them. Because then all the racing rules apply, right?
That's right.
It's just like racing a motorcycle, or everybody knows how to drive a car, but not everybody knows how to race them. So there is some skill that you need to have with this, right? What kind of skills?
Yeah, general rules of racing, like doing the apex and the turns, and
That's really
knowing when to throttle and brake,
Mm-hmm.
and when to anticipate turns.
Looking through the turn is really important. Actually.
So it's definitely the same as any racing league with any other type of motor vehicle. Just this is in the air, and
Exactly.
this is aerial Grand Prix. So it's the
Exactly.
same thing.
And it's three-dimensional.
Fair
That's the
enough.
thing that's cool about it. It's three-dimensional, right? So if you're road racing, you're only going left and right. Left and right. That's it. These things go left and right and up and down. So our racing gates are circles because you can come in from the top. You can pass somebody from the top. You can pass them from the right, bottom, all kinds of stuff. So you get a lot more dynamic views of the racing.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yes.
I've never seen that before,
Definitely.
except for Star Wars.
That would be fun to do some pod racing in real life, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I want to thank Matt for coming on the show. You had some really good questions. Hope you're going to be joining us soon. If you have any questions, post them below. We'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. I'll see you at the next race.